How you doing, guys? It's Alessandro here from Spicymoustache with some new tips in order to help you creating your own green area, indoor or outdoor, following the principle of do as nature does. It's that time of the year where your kitchen counter, cupboards, or even your basement or any other area of your house is gonna start to be full of piled up seed savings from the fruit of your garden. However, most growers can do this in a small scale, but there are many organizations around the world that are aiming to do this in a much bigger scale and to preserve heirloom varieties that are not widely available. So dig up that like button, and today I'll explain how to save seeds, why it's important, and I will also visit an incredible seed bank. First of all, we need to understand what's a seed bank. A seed bank, it's a place to preserve genetic diversity for the future. They're usually bomb and radiation-proof vaults holding jars of many different plant species. The seeds are usually kept in low humidity and cold conditions. This helps to preserve the seeds in optimal conditions, making sure they're still available to be used in the future. More than 1,000 seed banks exist around the world, varying in type, size and focus. Globally, it's estimated that around 40% of the plant are vulnerable to extinction. A seed bank, it's a sort of insurance, a way of maximizing the amount of plant species that we can save from this fate. Saving your own seeds is one of the most important tasks for every gardener. By doing this, gardeners have control over their own food. Saving your own seeds every year allows your varieties to adapt to each growing condition. To save seeds is to preserve food culture. Heirloom varieties wouldn't exist if it weren't for the gardeners that meticulously grew and saved seeds. Saving seeds, it's also essential to preserve food sovereignty. Simply put, seed sovereignty is the right for farmers, gardeners, or any other food producer to save, use, breed, sell open source seeds. Open source seeds are seeds that are not genetically modified or owned or controlled by big corporations. However, the current global crisis and climate changes amplify its urgency. The global pandemic has disrupted supply chains and made us realize how we rely entirely on systems that are far away and out of our control. Saving seeds and growing your own food makes sense for a sustainable future. Today, we are visiting a seed bank in Coventry, housing many different heirloom varieties that are not commonly available.
Hello, my name is Katrina Fenton. I'm head of the Heritage Seed Library here at Ryton at Garden Organic, and we've been around for a while now, since the mid-1970s, and we currently hold a collection of around 800 heritage vegetable varieties. So these are all non-commercially listed, lots of heirlooms, lots of varieties named after grandparents and uncles and aunties and things in our collection, and they're all open pollinated. We grow seed on site here to maintain the collection, and we also have a network of about 170 seed guardians who help us look after our collection. And we've got some less usual UK traditional crops that we have as part of the Heritage Seed Library. One of these is this magnificent doody. It's called Tower Hamlets. It's a more recent addition to the kind of vegetables we look after, and it came about as a result of a project back in 2012 called Sowing New Seeds, which was looking at crops that had been brought to the UK by first, second generation immigrants who were looking for familiar crops that they could grow in the UK. And this doody was donated to us by the grower who used to grow it at Spitalfields Farm, Tower Hamlets. We're growing it to seed, and a lot of our growing here grows way beyond the edible stage for crops, because we want it to go to full maturity for seed production. So on this side of the tunnel we've got another one of the crops that we're growing for seed this year. This is the first year for a cauliflower. It's a 19th century really robust cauliflower, would have been quite well known at the time, called English Winter Late Queen. We know it was still sold by catalogues like Sutton's back in the 1970s, but it's no longer commercially available. We're growing it undercover because we want to allow the curds, the cauliflower heads, to be protected over winter. And in the second year they're going to produce their yellow flowers, which we will bring pollinators in, we'll bring blowflies in to pollinate for us next year. So in this tunnel we have got a 19th century Japanese squash, Shichigatani, and you can see it's quite sprawling at the moment. We've got some fruit maturing. They're kind of slight hourglass shaped fruit, and when they're fully mature for seed saving they'll go from a kind of warty dark green to a much paler tan looking squash. Because it's been isolated, we're the pollinators, so we spend quite a lot of time with paintbrushes transferring pollen from the male flower to the female to make sure that we can produce those great squash fruits which we'll be harvesting later on this year. So we normally grow about 20 varieties of tomatoes each year. We hand seed clean them on site. It's really easy if you want to do this at home. It's quite straightforward. It's one of the easier crops to do. You just pick it when it's ripe, and we will open our tomatoes up. We probably do this about 4,000 times a year, possibly, on site each year. This is a kind of beefsteak tomato. It's got very few seed in it compared to a cherry tomato, but even so we will persevere, and I can see a few seeds, and what we do is we scoop the seeds out into a jam jar. We might run them under a sieve first of all, and we get as many of those seeds out into the jar as possible for each of these varieties. Good things is you get to eat the tomato as well at the end, so there's a lot of tomato eating going on at this time of year. And once you've cleared the tomato seeds out into the jar, we just pop a little bit of water on the top. Leave them there for 3 to 5 days, and you can see we've had some produced earlier where we've allowed them to start fermenting. And what we're trying to do is get that gelatinous coating off the seed coat. After 3 to 5 days, maybe a little bit longer at room temperature, we can then wash the seed off using a sieve, and we'll end up with a nice hard seed which we can then dry off for about a week or so, and it's ready to store for next year. So everything we grow each year comes through these doors. This is our seed drying room, and we've got our beans and our carrots, etc., tomatoes in at the moment, and they'll be in here for anywhere between 1 and 2 weeks depending on the seed size. It's 15% relative humidity in here, and we want to bring those moisture levels right down so they're ready for our cold store for longer term storage. So this is our cold store. This is the library bit of the Heritage Seed Library, and what we've got here are heritage varieties. Each year we grow out the seeds for them, and once we've got sufficient seed, if we have additional seed, we can then make them available to our members. So our distribution stock is available here, and our actual collection of conserved varieties are held here.
Even if you're growing in a few containers, you can have a lot of fun in giving seed savings a go. Every seed holds a connection to the future and the past. The stories of seeds connect us to our histories, family, culture, and our sense of who we are. Preserve seeds by using them, saving them, and passing some on. I hope you liked today's video, and if so, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification settings so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you next Friday for a new episode. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.